Hi, everyone. I feel so fortunate to have with me today the also inspiring Xavier Smith, aka also known as Coach X. But first, let me tell you a little bit about me for those of you that don't know me. I'm Colleen Reckers. I'm a certified life and wellness coach. I'm an integrated health practitioner, author, speaker, and global entrepreneur. I just recently partnered with the Inside Out Institute with Todd Cahill and Emmanuel Zavelis so that I'm able to give even more to serve my community. So today, I am so thrilled to have with me a very special guest, a friend, a colleague. He has been sent here to impact, inspire, and improve the lives of others on a daily basis. His name is Xavier Smith, also known as Coach X. And if you have any problems, he has got solutions. Excellent solutions, as a matter of fact. So, welcome, Coach X. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you, Colleen, for having me. I just want to say it is such a pleasure to get to spend some time with you. And thank you for thinking of me. I definitely feel honored. So in return for this, I'd like to give you what I like to call a big Hercules for doing that.
Thank you so much. So I want to start off by finding out a little bit more about you, like where you're from, your background. Who is Coach X?
Oh man. Okay. So hopefully I can give your audience what they're looking for. But that question is a loaded question,
I know.
right? So you're looking at a guy who was born in California, and to be specific, I was born in San Jose, California. I'm the product of the '70s, born in '71. I'd like to think it was one of the best years ever, but I think around that time there were oil crises going on and things like that. So I came around during that era, and I was primarily brought up as an only child, and it wasn't until I think I was like 18 or 19 before my mom had four more boys, and it was just a crazy type of situation. But
Yeah.
I consider myself a pretty easygoing, independent spirit, and I just love learning. And I like to call myself a disciplined individual that I got the opportunity to make that even stronger when I got into the military. But yeah, you're looking at someone who right now wasn't always this high energy, everybody knows me for this smile or what have you. It was not always the case. And I'm sure we'll probably get into a little bit of that. But yeah, I'm right now at this very moment. You're looking at the guy who's very happy to be alive, and I'm just happy to add to anyone's success in my own special way. But that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's fabulous because that totally leads into my next question. Because the first thing that anybody will know about you, the feeling that they will immediately feel is this amazing, amazing energy that you have. You have such a love for life, so much energy. I mean, the first time I met you, that was what I immediately thought. And I know you just have this energy just that vibrates through other people. So, what my question for you was, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but have you always been this way, or is there something that transformed you into the person we see today?
Oh man, that's another great question. Great question. But yes, I was not always this way. And if I have your permission to kind of go a little bit deep,
Sure.
what what I'd like to convey is that life is a journey, and we should all be looking forward to the evolution. And so for me, I spent a large part of my coming up and my childhood and going into my teens and 20s. I spent a lot of that time. I call that I spent a lot of that time in my jail sentence. I served 17 years. And the funny thing about that is I'd never stepped foot in an actual jail cell. So the incarceration that I'm referring to is that of my mind. So when my parents had me, they had me at a young age. I like to think, it's kind of like the kids having kids situation. And when I grew up, my perception allowed me to think that it was because of my parents or what they did or didn't do for me. And so as a result, I grew up walking through life with a fresh out of prison look on my face 24/7. And that was kind of like my defense mechanism that I used, because my thought process back then was that if my parental units could hurt me the way that I felt that they were doing, what's to stop a stranger from hurting me as well? So what I learned to do is just kind of use what I had, and that was that mean look, and that would keep people at bay. And my thought process was, if anyone took the time to get past that facade and actually engage me in conversation, then I might consider them, worthy. And so as a result, that 17-year lifespan that I spoke of was that period where I felt like perhaps the connections were lost. And I just really kind of lost the opportunity to fully engage in life and fully allow this light that you see now to radiate among others, because I didn't realize that was a gift. So back then I took it for granted, and I wanted to just keep people at bay and fly below the radar, as I like to call it, and just, kind of coast. And for that reason, it was one part in particular that I think it was in my late 30s that I was like, I felt like I was at the bottom of a pool with chain wrapped around my body, and I was drowning.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And so for me, I can hear the music on deck taking place, the music of life, let's call it. And I decided that I wanted that, and not to be stuck at the bottom of the pool. And I was the only one with the key. So for me, okay, just for me, I knew what that looked like. And the voice that was kept repeating in my head is, I have to do something that I don't want to do. And what that was for me was I had to get on the phone and call both my parents and let them off the hook. So the saying that came to me after I did that was, if I truly wanted to live, I had to learn how to forgive. And wow. I'm telling you, Colleen, the moment I hung the phone up was the moment my life began to change. And I don't mean that in like, from that day on, it was like yellow brick road all the way down and everybody's happy. Yeah. It meant, Colleen, that I was ready to do the work of becoming who I'm supposed to be, becoming the person that I was sent here to be. And then after that day, that's when all these transformations started getting downloaded from above to what you see now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I appreciate the fact that you're so real and so authentic, because so often people see where we are today and they don't see where we came from. And so when you're able to open up and share like this, we see that it's possible for other people. Other people can feel that it's possible for them, and they can make that change as well. It's never too late. So that's amazing. So yes. Tell me, I know you're a whole lot of fun. What do you like to do for fun?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, that's what I want to build my whole life around. Is my basis is, if it's not fun, I don't want anything to do with it. But some of the things that I grew up on, and this kind of sounds funny, but I believe this is my truest, deepest belief, is that I came out of the womb with a gun in my hand. So I love all things marksmanship. I had my first BB gun, I think, when I was like 10 or 11. Fell in love with just the calmness of going out to the backyard and plinking off some cans. Yeah. And I built up a collection of probably about 20 or 30 guns, air guns at that time, before I blew my mom's patio window out, because it was a BB that ricocheted off the tree and just scattered, or just spiderweb my mom's patio window, and she dumped all the guns. But that's one of the things that I love doing. Good. And I love I'm a solitary kind of guy. So I grew up to learn how to play backgammon and chess, things of that nature, basketball. So any sport, if I can't play it, I'll definitely watch it. But
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the things that we have in common as coaches is an unwavering desire to help others.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone that's struggling, that they're in a rut and maybe they want to feel better and look better too, but they're just having a hard time making that first step?
Okay, that's a good one. I can only go back to the archives of my own life because I was there.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I had to do was make that decision on, this one might be a hard one for some, but what is it that you want? Like truest heart desire. What is it that you really truly want? Because here's the thing, Colleen, I don't know if you've noticed this in life, but there's a lot of people that will run to the front of the line and tell you what they don't want. So when you ask them, okay, you've identified all the things that you don't like, all the negative, so tell me what you do want. And the response is a little bit longer to take to get back. So for me, you have to be crystal clear on what it is you truly want. And don't be afraid to, at least tell it to yourself if you're not willing to, blurt it out loud. But you have to know what it is that you want, what kind of life you want. And this is the most important. Who do you want to become? And this has absolutely nothing with material and possessions, but more along the lines of, why were you sent here? Because I truly believe everyone here that is on earth and living, no matter what the condition, has a purpose. And so when we get clear on what that purpose might be, even if we have to, somewhat make it up, it does give you a sense of mission, and then you can start walking towards that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it seems like, and I'm sure it sounds like you've had this experience too, where people kind of live this cookie cutter life of what they think they should do, and they haven't really investigated as to what their purpose is, or they're just kind of living by default. Or they're taking care of kids, or they have a career or whatever. But it's like when you ask them what they want, they get stumped. People have forgotten to learn to keep dreaming, keep moving towards the dreams that they want. So thank you for sharing that. So give us an idea, as a coach, what type of services you offer, and what you're doing. You're probably doing some things differently now, maybe because of the unique time in our country as we're faced with COVID-19. I don't know if that's changed your setup or not, but tell us about what you're doing as far as a coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, no problem. For me, it's all about, like I said, having fun. And even before this crisis unfolded before us all, I had been working towards becoming 100% virtual. And I believe, and this is another one of my core beliefs, that each and every one of us here, if we wake up, we have the ability to create our life exactly the way we see it in our head. And so my quest and journey towards being online started probably about 4-5 years ago. Being like totally burnt out on in-person networking and giving a lot of my energy up front, only to receive very little to almost nothing in return, I decided to, instead of blaming, to find a better way, always asking myself deeper and better questions. Okay, so for me, it was like, how do I turn this around and make it a positive and set my life up the way that I can serve and create better service for my home life too. So I'm going to diverge a little bit, because on the other side of this house or this wall here is a person that lives with us. Her name is Lizzie. And Lizzie, we've been taking care of for the last 7 years. She's my wife's sister. So she's chronologically I think she'll be 71 this year in January. So next year. And she mentally, she's around 3. So we have our own child again. So we've been taking care of her. But here's the thing. When we took over her care, she was in hospice. And now she has a nickname. She has a nickname called Benjamin Button, because she's been like getting better, it seems. So I have a bet that I think she's going to outlive us all. So she is a large part of my why. And so I got really crystal clear as to the belief that I can set up my own like empire right here from my home. but it had to be built on the fact that I had to serve and help other people get what they want, so I can always have what I need. So it's kind of like a Zig Ziglar model. And as soon as I start getting into personal development, learning about the Zig Ziglars and the Tony Robbins of the world, and I really bought into it 100%, I decided to go to work, even if I had to do it by myself, and build it. So to answer your question, those are parts of the services that I provide. I'm really having fun with just connecting with people on a human level, using technology to help me get in front of people, since we really can't do it physically, or people are too afraid of that. So I use the technology and the tools and all the desire that we both have to get myself either through video in front of them, and just kind of usher them to the trust, invite them to trust me, and then serve them, and keep it pretty simple. If I serve one person well, I'll just have to ask them, hey, if you like what you experience, would you mind telling someone else? And so far it's been happening. It's allowed me to open up and expand into online personal training. So when people sign up with me, they can get access to my programs no matter where they are. I have a lady in the Dakotas right now, one in Texas. Soon to be.
Fabulous. That's fabulous about technology, that we can do that. We can serve so many more people.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, that's kind of what I like to do is I offer. When I first got started, it was just personal training back in 2007. And I had no certification. I just had a desire, fresh out of the military at that time. I had a desire to help people because I had already built up a skill set of boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and the military itself. So I'm like, okay, I do have a little bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so it just started kind of snowballing from there. One weekend, helping a group of ladies in real estate do some workouts outside, to now having my own private studio and over 140 five-star reviews all over the internet.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's been a blessing. It's been fun too, because I get to do it all from home. My studio is right on the other side of that wall.
That's great. Well, I love how you have a heart of service, and through that, it brings you abundance. Not only personally, but financially, as a business and everything else. So that is truly, truly amazing. So do you have other coaches, or do you just do this one-man show?
Well, right now it's a one-man show with a desire and focus towards helping other coaches get into the online space and create more income. My online store, as a matter of fact, thank you, by the way, for purchasing some products from my store, but that is an opportunity
thank you, because they are very hard to find these days with the whole COVID situation. So when I saw that you had them available, I jumped on it. I was like, no way, because you can't find them.
Yeah. So I like to think that, I come in right when I'm needed. And because of that, I've been afforded the opportunity to help other trainers and do it in such a way that it's not, pressured. Like there's I don't want to give the name a stigma, but multi-level marketing has somewhat of a bad karma to it. So this is not a multi-level marketing venture. It's more along the lines of an affiliate relationship, because there's no pressure from me. There's no quotas to fill, but there is huge opportunity to take your servant heart and place it in front of people that need whatever you have, because I don't know the people that they know. So the opportunity does exist, and where I'm headed now, in helping other coaches create an income and make a difference in the online space.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Okay, so what is one thing that you would tell someone to inspire them to start living their best life? Just to go out there and start, you want to inspire someone, and there's just going to be, maybe one or two things that you're going to say to just rock their world and set them on fire so that they want to go out and live their best life.
Well, it's so funny. I would love to say something that's going to light them up and just get them ready to walk over some coals. But the funny thing is, it probably is going to be something that they're not wanting to hear. But the first thing I would say is be patient. Because if you don't have patience, you might end up going the burnout route and then quitting. And that would be the greatest disservice to us all. So please, if anything, put on 2 coats of patience and then carry that vision with you every single place that you show up. And for me, it was like once I made that phone call and I knew that was something that I had to do, that right there, and I would venture to say maybe a third thing, find out what you need to do to get clearance at the soul level, the spiritual level, mental. If once you're clear and you've done what you've had to do, like for me, it was forgiveness. I was very bitter, mad, frustrated, angry, upset, and everybody could feel that. And once I got that clear, I got that cleared out of my consciousness, I was able to walk towards daily, because I'm still doing it right now, walk daily towards my vision. So whatever that vision is, whatever that is, people like me and you can help them see it, believe it, and then walk towards it.
Yeah. And I had one person tell me one time that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. If they are ready in the time when you say it, you can go on and inspire, but if it makes a difference for that one person, that's all that matters. So we can't get frustrated by the fact that some people just aren't ready to make that change.
Oh, yeah.
That's very true. So if someone wants to connect with you, how do they find you?
Well, the easiest way, my brand new website is coachxtv.com.
Okay.
Then I like to keep it old fashioned. If people really want like a quick connection, they can always find me on Facebook or, email me, 𝑨𝒃𝒐𝒖𝒕@gmail.com, or simply call me. I love the old fashioned thing, that thing that we use to connect with someone instead of text, like actual.
I know. Do you know how rare it is for people to, they're like, who's calling me?
Yeah,
they don't
right.
answer their phones anymore. So yeah, that's amazing. Well, I love
Yes.
that. So thank you so much, Coach X, for sharing with all of us. It is clear that you are truly make massive impact, and your dedications to your clients is extraordinary, and you have a heart of gold for sure. So thank you for everyone watching. I hope this inspires you to go out and dream big in the world, and that way you can be more, do more, and give more. So have a great day, everyone, and thank you so much, Coach X.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Of course.